Carers have given BBC Spotlight first-hand accounts of poor practice in a number of old people's homes in Cornwall. Residents are refused help to go to the toilet and are left sitting for up to 12 hours without being moved. But the question is, how widespread is the problem?
We've heard from workers complaining about a number of different homes, some of which have been highly rated by inspectors. Following a critical report yesterday on the quality of home help, our health correspondent Sally Mountjoy has been investigating.
King Charles Court nursing home in Falmouth. Last month, inspectors reported serious concerns about the way its elderly residents were being looked after. People weren't getting the care and often the medical treatment they needed. Those who couldn't eat and drink for themselves weren't getting help and were undernourished. And there weren't enough staff to keep people safe. But care workers in a number of other homes in Cornwall have told us failings like this are common, including in homes rated as good. We've changed the names of those who've spoken to us because they're afraid they'll risk their jobs. Anna, an agency care assistant, says many homes have too few staff, though the situation in one nursing home is particularly shocking.
You are not turning people regularly, you're not changing people regularly, you're not monitoring people regularly, and that's a real concern and people do suffer. They remain wet for a long time, they don't get the dignity and independence that they need to have assistance to get up and go to the toilet. They get bed sores.
Pat, a care manager with experience of several Cornwall homes, says there are daily failures in the care of vulnerable residents.
Not being allowed to go to the toilet, sitting in wet pads, pads that sometimes get so drenched that the chairs are wet, people not getting enough fluids, just sitting in a chair, sometimes for 12 hours, watching a television. That's the very basic dignity, and that's what we're lacking.
The Care Quality Commission is the care home's watchdog. You can check out any home you might be considering for a relative on its website. Last year it stopped giving homes quality ratings, but the most recent scores are published online. 86% of the homes in Cornwall are rated good or excellent. Surprisingly, that includes homes where staff have told us the care is poor. Anna can't understand how that's the case.
It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking why it's still there, even after, a lot of concerns. Why it hasn't been removed, I don't know.
Now a concerned Cornwall mum, prompted by her family's experience of care homes, has launched a campaign to get home staff to speak out about substandard care. She's organised a meeting where they can share their stories with the Care Quality Commission.
I want to give every carer in Cornwall an opportunity to come along and speak in confidence about experiences they've had in any home that they've worked in the county, because I feel it's important they need to be able to do that away from their working environment.
Many homes say they're under pressure because councils pay too little for the residents they fund. Cornwall Council has said its rates are fair and what it can afford. But whatever the reason for poor staffing, one senior care worker says it can be dehumanising. Her words are spoken by an actor.
Morale amongst staff is very low, to the point that residents stop being people. To get the job done, some carers work the conveyor system and residents are treated as slabs of meat.
Pat wants more openness about the failings of the care system.
If we're going to continue to look after our elderly with some kind of dignity and respect, then something really needs to change and people need to be aware of what's going on.
The carers we've spoken to want to provide the best possible care for their charges, but lack of time and shortage of staff mean they often can't. Sally Mountjoy, BBC Spotlight.
Well, as Sally mentioned there, it's the Care Quality Commission which is responsible for checking homes meet basic standards. It has powers to fine owners if they don't. Earlier, I spoke to the regional director of the watchdog. I put our findings to Ian Biggs.
Well, of course, if we hear any examples of that kind of lack of care where people are not being treated like real human beings, then that's a real concern to me. And what I want to do then is establish where those homes are, and then I'll get my inspectors out and we'll go and inspect and find out what's going on. What's really important is for us to hear where those examples are so we can take action.
Isn't this a bit too reactive, though? Shouldn't you be more proactive, taking action to check this isn't happening in the first place?
Well, our regulatory system relies upon, I would say, three things. One is the information that we already have about any provider that's providing regulated care. Our inspectors, who will go out also in a planned way, not only reactively, but also those people who have experienced care or they know about care, either because they're staff members or their relatives and people that know the experience of people who have had care, that those views are part of our inspections as well. So I think it's a balance between those three things, which enables us also to respond where we find there's problems, but also have a prioritise, if you like, planned approach to our inspections as well.
Now, according to your rating system, and I know it's changing, but it's the most recent measure we've got, the majority of care homes are rated good or excellent. It seems to be a mismatch between what you're saying and what you're finding and what we're hearing.
Well, you're right, in as much as the ratings system is one that is we're not continuing with. What we try to do is keep as up-to-date information on our website as possible. That isn't always going to be right to the minute. It's fair to say that the original ratings system is a single word to describe a very complex set of care. So what we're trying to do now is describe where providers, where care homes and others are not meeting specific standards.
Do you think that will reveal more of these problems?
Well, I think our system of inspection, which means that we will respond very quickly where there's problems and also have a planned programme of inspection, helps to unearth these kind of problems. But I have to say, our system of regulation depends really on getting the staff, carers and others in the community to let us know where they think there are problems, because we can't do it without them as well.
But isn't that putting the onus too much on them? Doesn't your system need to be more robust? Don't you need to inspect more? I know you can't be in every home, every bedroom, every day of the week, but is 2 years enough for an inspection?
Well, we're constantly reviewing our methodology, if you like, and our plans, so we'll need to keep monitoring whether that 2 years is the right thing to do.
Do you think it needs to change?
Well, we have a system of prioritising our inspections on a planned route, so that where we have information in the background we can pick those off, or where we've got concerns from previous reports. And the most important thing, I think, though, is where there is concern that we respond very quickly and stamp out that poor practice.